Hey, welcome to Web3 Weekly with your host, Blockstar Technology.
Let's go. Good morning, Twitter Nation. We are coming live from the Blockstars office. I'm sort of hosting today, even though we all host every day, because he's away on a trip over at Perth for Blockstars. And I'm Charlie.
Craig.
Maureen.
So, what are we going to talk about today, guys? I know Maureen's got an interesting topic that she wanted to touch base on.
Yeah, I think a lot of people have been asking for some real life examples of how blockchain could change the world, or what we have at the moment that we could see improvement on. And I was giving this a lot of thought, and I remember last year I chose a topic for my studies to do, and something that I personally is close to me is, I remember when I was young, I used to donate money a lot to charities because I genuinely really wanted to help. But as the news, as TV and the internet news came out, and you were hearing about a lot more scandals and corruption and stuff, I actually took a really big step back. I'm not proud of it, but I took a step back from donating to charities because I just could never be sure where the money was going or where it was ending up, and how it was being spent. And I know that a lot of people were having charities and they were just paying so much money. The money that you donate was going to administration costs, this cost, that cost, and it ended up being such a small amount going back to the charity itself. And I was thinking to myself, when we were looking at all the tenets of blockchain, all the useful things, how cool would it be if charities moved on to the blockchain? Because you've got peer-to-peer, not necessarily peer-to-peer, donated to other people, but you could at least, it just improves transparency. You could trace the money.
Okay.
I donate on a blockchain to a charity, and then that money, how it's being spent, it's just transparent.
It's actually getting to the charity itself.
You know where it's going, you know what it's being used for.
So can we step back a little bit?
Yeah.
How young were you when you started donating originally?
It's probably as young as I can remember, and it just my parents had always, my mum especially, would be walking down the road if it was Red Cross or something, or someone asking for money, and my mum would be like, oh, go put $5 in it. Or when, natural disasters happened and you'd see people, and we always used to send money to, you sponsor kids. That's a big thing. It was a big thing in our primary school where we could go sponsor kids and send them money. And I loved the thought of that. My parents had always encouraged us, we'd get it, and every time at Christmas we'd buy presents for each other, and we'd all each get a present for a kid and donate it, and
that's
all
awesome.
of that stuff. Yeah.
I remember, and I'm sure it's a health and safety thing that they don't do it anymore, but back in the day you would pull up at a set of traffic lights.
Yeah.
And they would come out with the tins that they would rattle for put the change in and things like that. But obviously you don't want people running around on the road anymore.
Yeah.
And I remember growing up in New Zealand would have and I think Australia too, the chocolate. You sell the chocolate to raise money.
School,
Or a big one was 40-hour famine.
Yeah, I used to do the 40-hour famine. Never used to make it.
Yeah. There's like a whole heap of them. The MS readathons, the walkathons.
Yeah, but you don't see them around anymore.
Yeah. No.
I don't really see that happening anymore. And the thing is, it's sad, but humanity is good. Generally, people are good, but it's after a couple of things that go wrong, it kind of ruins it for everyone. And I'm not saying people have stopped donating.
No, but I also think they don't have the opportunity to donate as much as they used to.
Yeah, and I think people are a lot more skeptical because, as it turns out, when people raised a lot of these questions legally, a lot of these things went to court, and it turns out that to be considered a charity, only a very small percentage of everything you raise actually ends up having to go, and you've ticked that box. There's no overlook, there's no,
So how would you see blockchain being an advantage on the system we're using now?
Well, I think that for one, you'd save a lot of administration costs, you know?
Yeah, you definitely would.
The money, if you donated on a blockchain, the money is transparent, like you can see where your money's going and how it's being used.
Yeah.
I obviously do see a number of little issues, but I think that you could get around it. For example, this is, I'm just actually now remembering everything I put in my assessment. As long as in anything that's digital, yeah, you can do it. But at the end of the day, there's always got to be a point of where it has human contact.
Yeah.
So say I'm like sending money to Africa or something, I know on the blockchain I'm sending there and it got there, but that doesn't guarantee me how it was used. So I guess like you could still do things like oracles or like proof of that stuff, and you'd have to have a third party, like depending on how it was, depending on the type of charity, I guess, or what the money was being used for, but at least you could know that your money was directly going to that end place.
So you're talking about tracking it to the actual charitable organisation.
Yeah.
What if that organisation was then also distributing the funds digitally on the blockchain to individual wallets?
With the stable coin, for instance.
And gave
Yeah.
you the complete transparency of where
Yeah.
it was going to each and every person.
Yep, like that would work as well.
Yeah.
But I meant like for things like disaster funds, you know how you send
Well,
money
that's
but you
right.
don't know, you know.
Because
So
that's
there's
going
all
on.
these good use
Yeah.
cases it could have, and you could like follow it all the way through. But obviously there's still those ways around that they could do it, but we could address them in different
So if
ways.
it's used for infrastructure, or if they're buying a whole heap of food and airdropping it into a disaster area
yeah.
or something, obviously at the very end of that, I guess, travel or that
Yeah.
transaction.
Well, I guess even then you would see the exact amount of funds that went towards that food to how much.
Well, I guess that depends on the fiat off ramp.
Yeah,
I was about
And
to
I
get
think
there.
that's what
Yeah,
everyone's
that's-
getting at.
yeah.
We're a little bit early, but MasterCard, Visa are coming on board in the blockchain space. And once that's done, that can go straight directly to that local
Yeah.
charity as well.
I just think it could be huge for things like charities because it creates accountability. And I think that's really what this space is all about. Like when you have something that's transparent, it forces people to be more.
With transparency comes accountability.
Yeah, exactly.
That's exactly what it is.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's exactly right, Craig.
Yeah, and that comes into, maybe about 5-6 months ago now. I remember on Twitter, who was it? Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders were talking to Elon Musk and saying,
Yes.
you can donate $1 billion and cure world hunger or something along those lines. And he said, fine, I'm willing to do it, but I want all my money that I give to be transparent, and I want to be able to see where every dollar
Yeah.
goes. And he was happy to do it that way because he knows about the administration fees
Exactly.
and everything like that.
Yeah.
And then it sort of went a little bit quiet. It went quiet.
That makes me so angry. Do you know in America it's actually so disgusting how many people there are getting so rich from having charities or charitable
Yeah, and I'm
things.
sure that's the case, but
Some, but not.
Not all.
No, and I think
Not
we need to
all.
address the fact that if you're running an organisation that, or a charity that is doing good for people, and there are people that are working there in that charity, sure they have to get paid, and yes, there
Yeah.
are administrative
It's
fees.
just the CEO.
So
of
I'm
it.
not saying that people
Yeah.
shouldn't get paid
Just-
working at a charity, but if
The
it's-
CEO doesn't need $2 million a year for running the charity.
Yeah, exactly. That's
No.
the point I'm
Yeah.
making.
Yeah.
Thank you, Charlie. Like, yeah, I'm seeing they did a big report on it, and I remember that was the moment I was like, "What? Are you serious?" And
Yeah.
that's when I went and looked up all the legalities, especially in America. Like, you don't even need to be accountable or like answer to anyone about where the money goes, as long as you can prove a certain percentage was actually. And I was like, wow, that's the biggest hoax of the century. And it's like,
Yeah.
I was reading about this one particular family where it's generational. Like his whole family is employed by the charity
Okay.
and they're all like, yeah, driving really nice cars. I was just like, wow, why didn't I think of that? No, I'm just kidding.
delivering food to a soup kitchen in, like, you know,
And a Lambo,
Phantom
yeah.
or something, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not cool.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of good charities around, and, you know, I'm not
Yeah.
speaking ill of them.
And there's actually a really good local crypto charity on the Gold Coast,
Yeah.
actually, called Little Phil.
Yeah.
So they're quite interesting, where you can donate.
For the-
They're all different charities, like little mini charities on their website,
Yeah.
and you
Yeah.
can donate directly your Ethereum or Bitcoin or.
Well, it's the same principle that we're talking about here, and these, whether these are called a charity or a donation or whether it's an investment, but there are places out there that do microloans
Yeah.
for like startups. And when I say startups, I'm talking about somebody in Africa that wants to get a dozen chickens so that they can keep them and then sell the eggs to help their family.
Yeah.
So those type of microloans for those type of businesses.
Or where is it? The
And-
llama?
The llama that I didn't get to name.
Yes,
That's
yes.
it. That was to Peru.
Peru.
I purchased a llama for somebody in Peru. I didn't get to name it. That was my biggest issue. But I have no idea if they got the llama. I don't know what happened. I didn't even see a picture
Yeah.
of the llama.
I love
I
that
just
you.
went, bought a llama.
Yeah,
Bought a llama.
I love that you raised that because I just remember you just triggered my memory. When I was doing research for my assessment, I was looking at like how is blockchain being used in charities, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And there's I can't remember the name of it, but they are people send the money on the blockchain to buy a tree. And they actually tag the tree, and you can do it, and they will take a photo and they put it on the thing so you can actually follow it all the way through, and they have proof, and everyone gets like a photo of like exactly where the money went and which trees it bought
Okay.
and what it did and how it was planted and what use it's gone to, and like it's so there's ways people are getting around it. And I think that was the same thing with in Asian countries, how they were having like ethical sourcing of like coffee beans and stuff, like using that, like having donations and tracking it all the way and making sure that these people in the rice paddies are getting paid. And
Yeah.
No, it's very interesting. Even I remember, even recently this year, Ukraine posted a couple of their wallet addresses, and they managed to raise $14 million from the crypto community.
Yeah.
And that was in a matter of 24 hours. So,
Yeah, that's pretty
but then
good.
again, we don't know what that was used for afterwards, because there was the...
I don't know what the llama was used for. I'm hoping something good. A, I'm hoping it wasn't eaten, and B, I hope it's not being used to traffic something across a border, for example. But the llama is the llama, and
yeah.
Yeah,
I wish him well.
I do too. Whatever is.
Why don't we get the
Whatever
llama on the show? Why don't we follow it up?
I'd love to see the
Why
llama.
don't we
on the next
contact
thread,
them and be like, look, Craig bought a llama.
What was that website, Greg?
That doesn't matter which charity it was. It
Doesn't
was
matter.
I don't know. I don't want to, because it's fine. Like regardless of which charity it was, and even if it was a small percentage, and me understanding that, I'm still grateful that at least some of it would have gotten there to have helped somebody out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do I think there's better ways they could be doing it? Sure.
Yeah.
So I mean, besides the charities having donations on the blockchain,
Yeah. You can also fundraise. Is that what you're going to say? Like
I was gonna
different
ask.
ways that charities could use the blockchain.
yep.
Yeah, you can I think digital fundraising is also becoming a really big thing as well. Like it just gives people an opportunity to I suppose, reach potential people that they might not be able to reach normally.
Yeah.
Or on the ground. And like you said, it's it's just quick and easy. What do you think?
There's a lot of, I guess, especially NFT projects that are coming out at the moment, and there has been some previously. Well, I say coming out like it's a new thing.
Yeah.
It's been going on for a little while, but and it's a big thing within the Web3 community. I think is to make sure that what you're doing is doing good.
Yes.
And the same
I
issue
love
with
that.
charities. It's not like there isn't any rug pulls and things of that nature, because we know that happens.
Yeah.
But the general consensus on Web3 is that what you're doing should be beneficial
Yeah.
to others.
Yeah.
I
agree
Right?
with
So,
you there.
so I absolutely agree that it's a great way to fundraise. Be that besides selling an NFT, what are some of the other ways that they could fundraise using the blockchain?
Oh, you could do DAO token sales where people buy the tokens, all those funds get locked up. So I buy fundraiser charity token with my Ethereum, that Ethereum gets locked up in a smart contract where everyone who has donated money then votes on where that money is going to be donated.
And that's what I was saying. So rather than it being a specific, I guess, charity that's receiving this, you're talking about a charitable organisation that gets funds or raises funds and can then allow the people within that community to vote on where they want those funds to go.
Yeah, and I guess that would bring in a flexible charity. It'd be flexible because this month it could be Rosie's, next month
That's
it
right,
could be
it could be helping kids with
Llamas.
school books or buying
School
some chickens.
books.
Or
Is that like to
whatever it
vote
is,
for the people to vote?
Yeah, so
on
you would set up
initiatives?
a DAO and determine
Yeah,
where
so
the money
it'd
goes.
become a flexible charity where
Yeah.
each month the community votes with those tokens and then that allocation gets.
Yep.
I think it's
Dispersed
digital
to that
fundraising
charity.
is definitely like a really important tool for charities if they utilize it right.
It is.
Like it's definitely a good opportunity because you get to connect with potential donors that you know are all over the world.
Yeah.
It's like cryptocurrency and blockchain has removed borders, and like you said, with the fourth industrial revolution, it's actually all about working together. What's good for humanity, like people coming together and doing the right thing. It's like there's been a huge shift in social standards, cooperation.
And also just with our chat now, I had a thought.
Yep.
Is where there's a platform where someone in Africa or any other third world sort of country.
Yeah.
Not
They
all of
could-
Africa is third world, by the way.
No, it's not.
I'm actually from Africa,
El
so-
Salvador, multiple countries, even where they don't have bank accounts.
If we're talking about, I'd just like to give a quick how's it shout out to anyone from South Africa.
Yeah. But you could have a platform and think of it like a GoFundMe, where you go through. These people don't have bank accounts.
Yeah.
They don't have access to modern day banking like us, but they'd be able to set up a MetaMask wallet or create a wallet within the platform, have a short YouTube video, but they can upload, show that that's them, tell them about their business idea in their country, whether it be chickens,
That's right. That's essentially
or
the
housing,
micro loan.
accommodation,
Yeah.
and then raise that funds and then go along in the journey. So the funds don't cut off, but the more further they go with what they've promised,
Yeah.
people are more willing to add
To go
more
the next
fund-
round of funds.
Yeah.
to
for
add
example.
more funds and give them
Yeah.
more
It
to
makes
keep
it so
going.
much easier to track and record their progress, you know?
And that's pure peer-to-peer charity.
Yeah.
That's
There's
exactly right. You know that money is getting all the way there because it's the individual, which is the charity in this case, that's doing the off ramp.
Yeah.
So
And they can have like a storyline where as they're progressing, like the trees with their business,
Yeah.
that gets shown, and then it brings more credibility to that person where people are more willing to send them funds and donate.
it's also something that you could touch on when you were doing that as well, especially if you had a heap of people in the same area or a heap of charities in the same area.
Yeah.
We're almost like a peer-to-peer rating system. So like an endorsement type system.
Yeah, I
So-
think I'm trying to remember the initiative that they used. It's like almost a review thing, and where the whole platform is built on the honesty and like review of the other people. Like, did they do what they're going to say?
Yeah.
Like, they get stars and they get more higher rated. And even with charities, like you can what's it called? Philanthropic? What's it called? Like philanthropist.
Like philanthropists.
Yes, how do you say that? Say it again.
You said it very well.
Oh, did I?
What
Well,
is
thank
it?
you then.
What is it, Maureen?
Philanthropist.
Yeah.
Nailed it. Okay, I'll work on that for the next show. Where it's a reward system that goes both ways. Like this donor can be, a high level donor in the community. You get the benefit of helping people and like being seen as like helping people, which sometimes people do it like that, but you still get like a level of where maybe you help that much that you get more of a vote on where the money goes because you're so active in the community and stuff.
Or you're rated higher.
Yeah,
as
it's
more
rating, a
likely
rating
to-
system.
to get that.
Yeah.
So if Fred over there says yes, Bob did buy half a dozen chickens, I've bought eggs from him, you know what I mean, and it's sort of back and forth, then you at least, I guess, besides the transparency and knowing that money's getting to where it needs to go, you then have proof that the actions that were promised were carried out. By combining those two things.
That's right. Yeah, that's really cool. And I mean, like, I guess there's also, on that note, the potential, like you're saying, that you've got proof of including, like, just automating and streamlining those whole processes. And that would come down to smart contracts, you know, like where you're good at this, sorry, you do.
Well, okay, so I mean, we deal with a lot of artists and things like that as well in what we do. And part of what the benefit to artists is that for any artwork that's NFT'd and sold on the blockchain, you can set a royalty address so that for any future sales, some of that money's going back to the artists because they're the creator of that particular piece of content. And I guess in the same note, you could use the smart contract. So it doesn't matter. You could be selling sunglasses, you know what I mean, via crypto, or selling an NFT, whatever it is that you're doing. In your smart contract, you could actually set it up so that a percentage of each transaction is going to the wallet address of a particular charity, or even into a DAO, as you mentioned before, that then gets distributed into that, so that nobody has to think about it. There's no human interaction. You don't have to trust anyone.
Or you could also do that thing, for example, you know how they have like GoFundMe and all those pages, and they have like a target to set. So you could even do that with a smart contract. So once it's set, it automatically sends that money to the person that it's intended to. So just to streamline the process, cut down administration costs, make it simple, make it easy. If it doesn't get set, like hit, it goes back to the donors. That's sometimes how they raise money. If it gets hit, automatically triggers, goes to exactly who it's meant to.
No, that's a good idea. Very, very good idea. So I think when we touched on it before, some of the issues that we have is, like, we were talking about people don't have the opportunity to donate as much as they used to. And I think a lot of that, especially when, like, obviously blockchain can solve a lot of those problems, but because we're talking blockchain and cryptocurrencies, how do you make it easier for people to, I guess, do that?
That's where switching the Web2 people into integrating into Web3 and making it frictionless, seamless, exactly and not a big barrier to entry for them.
Exactly it. So what I wanted to talk about today was that whole sort of Web2 to Web3 transition and what should be done. So I guess we should probably start by explaining the difference between Web 1, Web 2 and Web 3, and I promise not to bore you all too much.
You never bore us, Craig.
But
too much.
Too much. Web 1 was essentially, well, the people that had not necessarily access to the internet, but access to putting content on the internet were generally those that had the knowledge, the money, and the availability to do it, because not everywhere in the world could at that time. So, excuse me. So, any content that you saw, although the internet is distributed, it's certainly not decentralized, okay? So, imagine reading a newspaper, because that's essentially what the internet was back in Web 1, okay? So,
the newspaper
the newspaper went, here's the information, and everybody had access to pick it up and read it. That's essentially Web 1, okay?
But it come from one central point.
Well, many central points, but that particular newspaper, for example, one central point. Or I'm on, ACME's website, and it's the information's coming from ACME, for example. So we had a big shift in that. That was back in the mid to late 90s, I guess. Well, in the 90s, I'll say. It started sort of a little earlier than that, but didn't have a whole heap of uptake. We then had a big shift from Web 1 to Web 2. And Web 2, I wasn't personally particularly that interested in participating in. because that was the rise of social media, right? I kind of get it a little bit more nowadays.
I wouldn't have been able
But
to tell, Chris.
It's,
Yeah.
I guess it was the use cases.
Yeah.
That, you know, it's great, Bob, that you just had that lovely thing of fish for lunch, but I don't really care what you had personally.
Oh, I'm one of
I
them.
don't need to see the
I'm
pictures.
one of them.
Yes.
I love taking photos of my food.
Well, I'm only
Guilty.
I'm only interested in the picture of the food if he's willing to share it. Okay.
Well,
the
have you
picture,
asked him?
The actual food is what I mean. Well, it depends. He could be in a completely different country. But I guess the big shift with that is that the content was coming from, and I hate this term, I'm trying to remember which, there was a movie or a docuseries or something of that nature that actually clearly defined this, and it was, there are only two industries on this planet that refer to their customers as users. And that's IT and drug dealers.
Yeah.
So I actually hate the term users myself, but I don't have a better one for, you know, this, I guess, analogy or explanation. So I'm still going to call them users, but it's just, if you see me cringing,
Oh, now I'm thinking of them
that's why,
differently.
because it triggers me a little. But,
But it's
that's
funny
okay.
because, like, on that note, and we do digress a little bit because that's what happens when we talk on this show. It's funny that you say that because they have compared social media and Web3 and all these platforms as addictions.
Yeah.
So it's actually really funny that
they've done some psychology work behind
dopamine
this.
release,
You even
addiction.
see there's a big market in it where people are like, get the likes or get the views.
Yeah.
Or,
Yeah.
And there's psychologists in the background working out the best way to
keep them coming
them
back,
going.
keep them
Yeah.
engaging.
The little notification red number circles on your phone, that
Yeah.
whole thing has been like tested to make,
Yeah.
oh my god, there's something there, I need to check it and do something, I need
Yeah.
to action this, unless
But
it's
dopamine.
Charlie's inbox, which is showing 4,200 something emails that are unread, but that's a whole nother story.
Yeah.
So what I was saying
We're the
is
same child.
with Web2, the content came from the users. So it was different opinions, greater, source, and a little bit lazy in my opinion initially, because it was like, okay, we've started this thing and we don't even have to worry about the content because everyone else is going to do it for us. Now I get that it's got good points and bad points, but I guess the worst point about it, or the worst thing about it, was that sure, that was Bob's picture of his lovely fish lunch, and he uploaded it to a social media platform, at which point that image and that content becomes property of the social media platform.
Yeah.
So while the content is coming from a vast array of people, it's still centralized, and all of the control over the content
That is so true.
it is by the companies that run the platforms.
People have lost
Okay.
complete control of their content,
Yeah.
their privacy, their data, where it ends up. Like,
Yeah.
that's why Facebook keeps repeatedly getting taken to court.
Yeah.
Because even in your private messages, and did you know this? It's actually not on the public platform. Even when you message privately, they're reading your
They've
private
got
message.
access to it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they're in a system somewhere.
And they're recording your conversations. That's why you give them permission
I think they
to record.
I think they become that big that quick
Yeah.
that it sort of got disjointed. Like, people think, oh, it's freedom of speech, Facebook, what are you doing banning us? No, that's a business and terms and conditions. They can
That nobody reads.
No.
But do you still have your firstborn? I just needed to check because
Yeah.
Charlie's notorious for just flicking to the bottom and going, I agree.
Charlie's like, whatever you want, whatever you need, take it.
Take it.
That's right.
But that's funny that you say that because you're just hitting on all these recent court cases. Facebook got, how they had that whole fact checker and people were like, everything that you read on the internet's the truth. Yeah, it must be. And how like they went through that whole thing where they was taking things down that were getting uploaded and saying it was found to be false by fact checker, or our fact checkers have said this is not true. They got taken to court and their fact checkers are just normal people that are like, nah, I don't think that's true. And they weren't like based on anything. So a lot of people were like putting things up, or like, especially at the period that we don't like to talk about, the corona times, like so many people were having legitimate information that they were sharing taken down or deemed as being false because they didn't want to, they controlled the agenda, essentially. Like, if it wasn't something they wanted to talk about, whether it was true or not, and that is the danger of corporations.
Yeah, but there is a fine line there, as me and Craig have discussed quite a few times. But one that stands out to me is like the Hunter Biden laptop case that got released, and it all got taken down before the election, and then it ended up being true, and like Washington Post actually got banned off Twitter, like an actual news outlet, and it's like, hang on, you're banning an actual news outlet.
Yeah, censorship at its finest. They're
but
controlling
then at the
it.
same time, Craig, as we've discussed, and I agree with you there, people will believe, there are people out there on the internet that will believe stuff. There's a fine line.
But we can't control people. If people are silly enough to believe everything they read without doing their own thing, we can't baby people, because at the end of the day, especially if it's an opinion thing, or you're going to lead someone to think what you want the outcome to be, that's censorship. You cannot like oppress an opinion just because it's going against a direction that you want it to be in.
I agree 100%.
Yeah.
But the other side of that, and where this comes in, it's not necessarily the people that are silly enough to believe anything. What sits in between those two extremes is the algorithms.
Yes.
Okay?
Oh yeah, let's talk about the algorithms.
So I'm not to digress from this too far, but this is where it's sort of gotten to, where obviously just about every platform has their own algorithms. So if I go and look at fixing a car video or something, then I start getting fed more car videos.
Well, our TikToks are pretty similar.
They are.
Very similar.
I only spend 5 minutes at a time on TikTok, and for some reason when I look up, it's dark outside. But the problem there is that you start getting fed that same information, and then that's all that you see. So you only end up seeing one side of that argument.
Yeah, the
depending
bias.
on which. So it's really important to choose which doors you're going down and which rabbit hole you choose.
Because it just
on any platform,
reaffirms.
because it does it. It's just constant reinforcement of that idea through the algorithms. Yeah. So
what about the Cambridge Analytica scandal? We have gone way off topic. We have gone algorithms. That's
Craig, Web3.
Web3.
It's okay. We get back to it. But if you want to talk about that, that's fine.
Oh no, I'm just like, I agree. Like, they got taken again to court because they rigged so many political elections, and the outcome of it, because they showed people only one side of everything, and they essentially brainwashed them, made them believe something. This is the danger of technology, and we should talk about it, because people deserve to know that, you must begin to be consciously aware. The answer is education. People need to know that if you do something, if you put something on the internet, that's it. Once it gets up there, you lose control. All right. Now, blockchain has been developed by so many people that are adamant and passionate about wanting to take control of their data. They want to take control of their privacy. People out there in the Web3 space are working on blockchain because essentially they see the danger in corporations owning your data, because you don't know what they're doing with it. You don't know where it ends up. It's scary. And the more you know, the more you'll be able to act accordingly, right?
And that's one of the beauties of blockchain. Is all the decentralized applications out there. It's connect your MetaMask wallet, log in, you've got your account. You know what I mean? There's no email, there's no phone numbers.
Yeah, that can be a trade-off as well, and I'll get to that in a minute.
Yeah, it can be optional. It can become optional if you want notifications on your OpenSea account that your NFT just sold. And it comes in where you can just spin up a wallet.
You can spin up emails too.
And emails,
You know what I mean? Like there's all sorts of places that you can do that. So I had a point and it's completely gone.
What was it? The Web3 protection data?
Well, data's the new oil, isn't it?
That's right.
Well,
data is the most valuable commodity. They're
it's
selling all of your data.
Yeah.
All of your data.
What do they say? If you're using
a product,
a platform or a product, and it costs you nothing,
then you are the product.
Then you are the product.
That's right.
So it's you and your data, and that's the point, I guess, is with Web2. It was your content. Just because you wanted to share it, it then became somebody else's content.
Yeah.
And they had control.
Yeah.
And that's not really fair. That brings me back to the whole I think it might have been Facebook that banned particular news outlets.
Yes, yeah.
Washington Post.
Because no. Also, I think it was out here. Like it might have been Channel 9.
They took them all down.
Oh, with
Yep,
Australia
because it was
wanting to get
it was the
paid
news
for
outlets' content that was on their site, and they weren't getting paid. And don't think of that as just like it's one corporation against another corporation or anything of that nature. It's the same if you're a user. If it's your information, your content, and your data, then
You deserve to control
why are
that.
they monetizing it and making money, and you get nothing except your data sold so that they can make more money?
Yeah. And
Yeah.
the worst thing is the data you see and share is one thing, but the data that you don't even know you're
data
sharing.
they
The fact
collect,
that look
yeah.
at all the stuff, like everything, there's all these loopholes, and it's dangerous and it's scary. Like when you sign up with something and it gives you an option, do you want to sign up with your Facebook account or your Google account or even, and it makes it easy, but in exchange of convenience, you're actually giving up everything. They time with the times of the day that you're more likely to use this, how you're feeling, your emotions. Like it used to be that the Privacy Act protected only certain personal information,
Yeah.
but now the inquiries into the Digital Platforms Act has shown that personal information is like immediate, but these companies are getting so many data points on you that aggregated data,
That's the
all
stuff.
these exactly, Craig. Aggregated data is
Yeah.
now just as dangerous.
Yeah.
They look at all your likes. They can basically, they've got a profile on each of you. I hope this isn't scaring anyone. I got anxiety after it. They have a profile on each of you where they have collected so much data on you
Yeah.
that even without your name, your number, and everything, those data sets are enough to identify you.
You may have given them five small pieces of
they can
first
tell.
name, surname,
Yeah,
email,
yeah.
something else.
That's
but
right.
They might have
They-
400 things on you based on your behaviours
They
and
can
what
tell
you've looked at,
your
how long you've looked.
Your sexual orientation, your
Yeah.
political views, your religious views, your family, blah, 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 like everything. There's a thing that I'll send it to you, but that you can see just how many things that they can determine on you. Even comes down to like with like Instagram and all that stuff, comes down to the algorithms of the kind of things that you like. The kind of things that you find funny, the people that you associate with, what sort of, do you know what I mean? Like, it's actually crazy.
Yeah.
It's like the social credit system in China.
The data you give them is the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah, the data that they take without you knowing.
Yeah.
And coming back to Facebook versus news outlets, agree with you there, but also the news outlets I see take stuff from users as well. Like if you were to post something on Twitter, a video of an event,
absolutely.
video of Facebook. So the user gets done by the news agency. The news agency,
Yeah, it's a dog eat dog world, isn't
getting
it?
done by the platform.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the problem, I guess, with Web2,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So Web3 hopes to solve those issues by giving that, I guess, the onus is back on the user.
Yeah.
It's your data. You get to control what gets shared with who. You own it. It's your content. Okay?
Yeah.
Now, that is again a double-edged sword. Okay? For anything Web3, you're going to need a wallet. So
Yeah.
I don't want to go too far down this, but obviously there's custodial wallets and non-custodial wallets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Do you want to?
again,
Do you want to just give us a quick idea of what the difference
okay,
is, just for
custodial
people
wallet.
that don't know?
With a custodial
Such as
wallet,
myself.
you have the private keys essentially,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So that you control it, it's your wallet, okay? With a non-custodial wallet, such as the ones used at some of the larger exchanges and things of that nature, and they do that for easier onboarding, and
Yeah.
I understand the reasons, and they do sometimes have their place, but you don't actually have control over your wallet. And as Charlie says,
Not your keys, not your Bitcoin.
that's correct. That's how it works.
Good point, Charlie.
And it's the same thing, I guess, one of the other, and we'll get to the other saying of yours in a second. So obviously you're better off having a non-custodial wallet because it's completely within your control. But when you do that, it then means that knowing the technology, the
Yeah.
security, everything's back on you, right?
No, people don't actually want that, A lot of people think they want that, but they don't want
And-
full control of their stuff. How many times do you forget a password and like forget password, send it to me?
Yeah.
It's a lot of responsibility.
And there's none of that with Web3 wallets. I mean, in the immortal words of Uncle Ben, you know, with great power comes great responsibility. Or as Charlie puts it, it's difficult being your own bank. Because that's what happens.
Yeah.
So
until you're on some exchange that
it goes into liquidation.
And you realise the reason of that, but then there's still the trade-off, isn't there, Craig? With
there's always a trade-off, you know, between ease of use and, you know, security,
convenience.
for example. That's right.
And especially someone coming new to the market that's been sent some referral link to some small exchange,
and I guess
you put a lot of trust in those exchanges.
What I'm getting at is there's a couple of things out there that are making this a little bit easier.
Yep.
Right. So obviously things like your Web3 auth.
Yeah.
So I know we touched on that before, where yes, you still need a password, or you can use a social media, for example, to create the wallet, but it's generally a password that you use. Right?
So Web3 auth relies on
email. Sorry, not
and
password.
then it sends when you log in, it sends you your
that's correct
6-digit code to then go log in.
So then go and do it. Now, although you're not initially supplied the private keys, that's still a non-custodial wallet.
Yeah, because you can extract your private keys.
As you wish, So you don't have to worry about writing down on a bit of paper and spreading them at your mum's house like, you know, Vitalik has, and putting this one in a safety deposit box up there.
That is really stressful.
In the bank. Hang on a minute, I just found another use for banks with Web3 is you still need the safety deposit box to store your private key. You know, your keywords.
But it's scary. It is scary because especially if you're a heavy investor, like how many stories do we hear of people that have had hardware wallets or have had this and they've lost it, or the thing has been damaged and there's no backup, and that's a nightmare. Or you don't know what to do. You have it in cold storage and your house burns down. These things happen.
And that's just as tragic as, like, you know, your average mum and pop, whatever, that have decided to get into this. And although it might be a much lesser amount, it's still their entire life savings, perhaps.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or at least a substantial chunk of money that they're going to lose from it. So I guess my point that I'm trying to get to is that we need to make these things easier. So you've got your Web3 auth, obviously, which means that you don't have to go and download additional software, set up a wallet, store, you know, your seed phrase and that type of stuff, worry about private keys. It's just done and sorted.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, even if you were to go through those steps or get a wallet a particular way, you still need, in general, to have then on-ramped from fiat to cryptocurrency to be able to purchase anything on the blockchain. So even if, let's just use your charities, for example. I would like to buy a llama, and I'd like to be on a blockchain so it's all transparent and I know where the llama is and what they called him and that he's safe. I'm assuming it's a he. I don't know. Maybe it's a they, she. I don't know what the llama's pronouns are, but I'm going to go with he for now.
Llama.
Just llama.
Llama.
So obviously, I'd need to go from fiat on ramp, get crypto, because to even transfer any of these funds on the blockchain, it's going to cost crypto gas, and then that's a whole other thing to teach people. And it's really difficult to try and get these people that are used to this Web2 world into Web3 because of this barrier to entry. So that's like, I mean, some of the stuff that we're using at the moment is just straight fiat, so credit card, pay, does all the conversions automatically. You end up with what it is, whether it's the crypto or the NFT that you're purchasing.
I think as time goes by, though, we are now entering into what almost, is it 10 years? Like it's been a while now, 12 years now. So that's technically 10 years is a full scale market cycle. You know, the 444. This is enough historically to measure on. The thing is, I think over time, the technology is, Charlie, is catching up. So those barriers are coming down because you've got MasterCard. You've got as it becomes more widely adopted, these barriers are coming down.
Yeah.
And I think that's not going to be the biggest issue. I really think, like we just touched on, I think the whole coming on with fiat, it's going to become so seamless that the whole idea is people don't even know what the underlying technology is to be able to use it. All right, but I think the biggest issue that they now have to sort out is, like we said, that security and sovereignty over their money and over their accounts and over the exchanges and who's responsible and where the private key's kept. And because the more money goes into it, the more risk there is. And this is a scary thought, and I just came up with it. I have a feeling that we are going to start going down the road of biometrics because there's almost no better way to secure or confirm your identity. You can have like passwords and seed phrases and things everywhere, but it's still a risk. If you have it on the internet, you can get hacked. If you have it in the house, it can get stolen. Really the only way that you can almost guarantee is going to be biometrics, and that brings us into a very dangerous zone when it comes.
There's also they're splitting private keys up, so they sort of shard the private keys around, and then when you sign that transaction, it joins them together. But to be able to hack them, you need to hack Google Cloud, Azure, and your own system that you're using as well. So people are working on it.
Yeah, it's definitely something like the issues are known. This technology is new, but that's why it's so important to be in this space now, because even though it's a little bumpy right now, the moment that these things get sorted out, bam,
full steam.
Like we all know what the problems are. We all know the things that need to be overcome, and collectively, the world, everyone in Web3 has been working towards these outcomes. We've got bigger companies globally coming on board, addressing these issues, making payments easier. We know that safety is an issue. We know that onboarding, ramping, bridging, all of these things. The more people know, we've got some of the smartest people in the world in this space, and everyone is working towards these solutions.
And saying that, Craig, I've Anton Aponopoulos.
Yes,
Do you know him?
I do know him.
I've watched a video of him years ago. And same thing, early internet. Like, I don't know, you were sending early emails. I can't remember exactly how it worked, but you had to fire up one piece and command line another, and then you had to have that address and send it over, and it'd take time to go over and come back. I forget the software. I'll find the video and I'll share it with you. But email was so laggy when it first came out.
I used to test them by just simply telnetting into the mail server on port 25 and typing each command that it needed, the receipt to, the sent, who it was from, here's the data, end it with a line, like a full stop on an empty line to get to the actual message to send, to make sure that it went out and read the response. There's all sorts of ways.
Yeah, where now we send an email and it's email,
off your phone,
subject, type, send.
And that's the thing, it's frictionless.
Yes.
And that's what this is about to be, and that's my point. So these, I guess, advances that are being made in each part of this, whether it's, not having to have the crypto to buy something in crypto, or even send money via crypto, like with the fiat on-ramp, or if it's the Web3 auth, so that you don't have to download, install a wallet and do all that sort of stuff. All of this stuff combined is very shortly going to get to the point where people don't know that it's Web3.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's what it needs to do.
And even at this stage now, well, even in the last, must be the last 2 years or so, maybe 1 year, MetaMask integrating their fiat gateways, they're now up to Apple Pay. You can Apple Pay crypto into your MetaMask wallet and send it straight out. Which that was a big change when they started doing like Wire Pay, Moon Pay.
Oh, so I don't have to buy
Apple Pay.
So I don't have to send crypto to it anymore? Thanks for telling me that.
No, you can
you used to always have to go to an exchange.
I can't believe no one has told me that until now.
Buy on an exchange and then transfer it over to your MetaMask, pay another gas fee from there to the exchange fee, then go send your crypto to wherever ICO back then I was buying, get in early on the ICOs, where I think that's where NFTs brought the market a lot more forward, because a lot of Web2 people have transitioned into crypto.
That's right.
To get the art or the utility behind NFTs. It's not really just a stock trading token sort of environment.
That's
it's a totally different aspect on there.
But this is why, just sort of to loop back around, it's why I think it's important for the charities to get onto.
Yeah,
the
I
blockchain.
definitely think so. They expand their reach. They expand who they can help. They get more people on board because you're essentially bringing confidence to the space.
You're immediately
A lot more-
global.
Yeah.
You know,
Yep.
it's
Exactly
then-
right.
And then on top of that too, with having the fiat on-ramps in MetaMask, with DeFi indexes popping up, now you've got aggregated swaps within MetaMask as well,
Yeah.
where it'll scan through multiple dexes and then give you the best price to swap your Ethereum for
Yeah.
USDT, for instance, or
Yeah.
WETH, where you would have sent that there, then you have to send it back to an exchange, trade it over on an exchange, then send it back and then be like, I'm $1 short on gas fees in the actual Ethereum or Binance or whatever.
Lower the priority or
send a bit more Ethereum from your exchange.
and lose more in gas fees.
Yeah, that was a
That's what
nightmare.
happens.
But yeah, every 4 years, every Bitcoin halving, this technology just grows. It's amazing to see.
It's getting a lot easier. The more people that are adopting it, the more and it takes a while. The problem is it takes more people to be invested for the problems to show. Because when it's small, things are easy. But once you start scaling and more people are on board and more people are using it and more people have problems or the things start to poke out, the more money that's invested, the more point there is to fix it.
But it also has to be easier to board that.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's where blockchain's been a bit of a flip. I can't remember where I heard it, but blockchain technology starts from retail and is coming into institutional, where most technology will,
It's the other way around.
will raise institutional and then come to retail. So this has been a flip, and that's sort of the whole market and the memes, and it's
a great
it's really
equalizer.
the first time ever that I know of that it started in retail and moving to institutional.
Is it not a step down from that though? Because from retail you've then got the consumer, which is the user in this case, and it's giving them control and power back as well.
Yeah.
So it's actually starting grassroots, then retail, then back up and through. So,
Yeah, well, I class us as retail, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, as users, buyers, early adopters.
you know, I think we covered, well, besides web, you were mentioning dexes, exchanges, all sorts of stuff. Lots of terminology, non-custodial, custodial wallets, things of that nature.
There is a lot of terminology in the blockchain space, and it can be quite hard to understand as you're scrolling down Twitter for someone that's just getting into the market, like even coming into what we were talking about earlier with having wallets and trying to transition and make it frictionless. Like I've spent time with friends of mine that have got it in, and they're just constantly asking, like, what about this? What about that? This? How do I do this?
Is that Jarvis, your friend?
No, not Jarvis.
Okay,
but I've got to like talk them through. And once they do it a couple of times, but they've had me to sort of educate them on it, it's like, I get it now, and they're off doing it. But it's still not at that frictionless point at the moment. And same with the terminology too. I have mates saying,
Has its own language.
yeah. So what I've got today, guys, is I've got a test for Craig and Maureen on terminologies. So this should be fun.
Oh God.
I'm going to start off easy for you, all right, guys?
Keep the hard ones to Craig, please.
But not what.
No, it's between both.
Most of these are these like regular terminology, or is it weird things that are used on social media and stuff like that in the crypto space?
Terminologies in crypto, which is mostly used on like Twitter, social media.
So as we explained before, I didn't participate in a lot of that, so this will be
Me
interesting.
too. So give us
This is going to be
if
fun.
we
This
pull
is a
faces, just jump in and be like, all right, so the correct answer is. This is a dangerous game for me to play because
All
we
right.
both know my filter's not
All right,
right.
guys.
Do you have a beep, Nathan, that you can use at any point? No, okay, he's shaking his head, guys.
All right, let's go.
All right,
GM.
Good morning.
very good.
Hey.
Oh my God.
And quick. Too.
This feeling.
It's on. All right,
All right. I'm gonna mark this one.
go.
Let's see.
Twist. It's childproof, Charles. There you go.
All right, you lose a point for
thank
that,
you,
Charlie.
Craig.
-1 for Charlie.
So one for Maureen. GM.
Good night.
You were
One
brushing
for
your nose. I
Craig.
couldn't hear from the side.
All right. GMI.
Good morning, India.
Nope.
Is it at least a good morning?
Come on, Craig.
Good
Does the first two
morning.
letters stand for good morning?
Nope.
They don't.
Oh, GMO.
I might only get half a point now, Craig.
For
GMI.
GMO.
I have no idea.
Gonna make it.
Well, that's just cheating because that's just part of WAGMI.
Oh, we're all gonna make it.
WAGMI.
We're all gonna make it.
Maureen.
Oh my God,
Maureen, because that was coming
I
next.
am
Okay.
abnormally competitive.
NGMI.
Not going to make it.
Not
Yep.
gonna make it. This is not what I thought he had in mind. What he was going to do terminology. NFT is a non.
McDonald's.
Oh, when you buy something and then it goes up and then it comes down and you have to start working at Macca's.
Yep.
Wow.
That's an inside joke. I think even McDonald's Twitter account has made some jokes about that.
We're hiring every time the market
In the
crashes.
bear market, McDonald's Twitter account and social sort of, we're hiring crypto bros. PFP.
Provocateur.
Yep.
Oh. I can't hear, so that's
Which is
why.
a weird thing
sorry.
because there's 3 letters, but it's actually only 2 words.
Yes.
Why do they do that?
I don't know. You know us crypto guys. We like
Things
to make it
complicated.
sound
Yeah.
fun.
As it gets better, they'll drop that last P out.
Yeah. FOMO.
Oh, fear of missing out. I do. That's one for me. Just go ahead and click that.
All right. Forward, Maureen. Cope.
Oh, I heard that wrong.
Cope.
Is that like come over police environment?
Emergency.
Emergency.
No. I'm going to know this one. I hear it.
It's the opposite to FOMO. So it's
Oh.
when you didn't buy that
Care
bought
of-
the ape at 0.5 ETH and you now see it at 110 ETH. Coping.
Oh, it's just literally coping.
Oh, that's what I was gonna say.
Okay.
Is it like? Do you want to know what cope means?
So
I
it
can tell
wasn't an acronym, it was just the word.
Cope. Yeah, you
This
see it
is-
though, it's just cope.
Okay.
Okay.
IRL.
In real life. Damn it.
Great.
What if I say it really fast?
It's actually funny, like so many people are like, I'll see you IRL. It's
Yeah.
like, I'll see you in person. Like,
Yeah.
everyone's switching to IRL.
Yeah.
Probably nothing.
Well, it's probably nothing. You're not gonna get any money. It's probably fine.
It's not a rug pull. I don't know.
Means
Probably
it's
nothing to worry
some-
about.
It means it's probably something. Probably nothing, you know.
Right, okay.
You'll see,
Oh,
you'll see, apes have got.
where did you get this list from? Sorry.
Apes, I made
Gone
this.
from 100,000 down, or
Oh.
Logan Paul's thing down to $10 or whatever. It's probably nothing.
Probably nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Up only.
It's coming down to the moon. It's a good buy. I'm tired.
It's my understanding is it's a methodology that they only report on the good things, I guess.
It's the start of a bull market
Yeah.
when things are just going up for a few months and you've got
okay.
another year. And there's actually a good YouTube channel, Twitch channel called Up Only from Crypto Cobain.
Okay,
Very
yeah.
informative. He has quite a few people on there interviewing. Mint.
To mint something.
Sort of. You're almost there.
Well,
You sure it's not that was an old thing from might have been back in the 80s. It was like sweet bro. You would understand that, or it's mint.
yeah.
who's
No,
But
but
that's
you're
not what
almost
it is.
I
there,
think
but it's
just
to,
to click
it's
that.
to mint an
NFT.
like,
Yeah.
where
Well,
you-
that's
Well, that's what I said.
Whether it be the artists themselves or the customer minting the
on
NFT
purchase. Yeah.
Okay.
from on release.
I
of
took that as what you
collection.
meant. though.
That's what I did
To
mean.
mint something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right
Thanks,
click
Craig.
and save.
Hook and save.
NFTs is what we're referring to there.
Did you say right hook and save?
Yeah,
Right click and
Oh,
save.
right click and save. I don't know. Is this distorting my hearing? It's getting in the middle of
It's
this.
a microphone. It's not headphones. It's
So what was your answer, Greg?
It's referring to NFTs and how is it a copy?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
for the people that think they can right click and save the ape. But
Yeah.
They still can't sell it for the
That's
100
exactly
Ethereum.
right.
Yeah.
Do I not get my point? Don't forget.
Oh, so
We're taking this seriously,
It's
Charles.
it's
there's a
on.
bit of competition here, isn't there, guys? This is the way.
Follow me.
This is the way.
This is the way up. This is the way to do it.
I thought you'd know this
Is that
one,
from the
Craig.
Mandalorian?
Yes.
But
Oh.
is it referencing anything in particular crypto-wise?
A way
or
to
just-
commend socially positive behaviour.
Okay, all right.
Oh.
fair enough.
Floor price.
It's the bottom price
Oh,
of an NFT
NFT
on sale
collection. We'll give her that one.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Give her that one.
You're being very particular here.
Yeah, this is not how I saw this game going.
OG.
Oh my god,
No.
the original gangster.
Original group, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, OG.
Yeah.
So they've been in crypto for
Yeah.
a year.
That's right.
Well, it does mean original gangster though.
It's OG in anything,
Yeah.
pretty much.
Yeah, OG.
Maureen's taking the lead.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Alpha.
Alpha male, the top dog, the best of the best. Alpha, A in the
first
phonetic
one,
alphabet. Alpha. Yeah. Okay then. I'll
Al-
just tick, tick, tick.
So
I'll
yeah,
just sit here while she shouts out counts and answers and one of them will be
Alpha
right.
is someone who's aped into something
Yeah.
and done very well, and
That's
they
right, yeah.
alphaed that.
Yeah,
bottom
exactly.
call.
Right, okay.
So we'll give you that one more.
Thank you.
We need buzzers.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
That'd make it so
Yes.
much. Man, we are
And you only-
grossly
and-
competitive.
And you only get one answer.
Yeah.
And if you're wrong, it goes
if you're
back and
second, it
forth.
electrocutes you.
No. And it goes back and forth. So if you're yelling at an answer,
They're just JPEGs.
Photo, JPEG. They're just photos.
referring to NFTs,
They're just digital photos. Oh, what?
magic internet pictures.
Magic internet pictures.
They're just
They're
JPEG.
just JPEGs, but they don't understand the community or
The utility that they should
perspective
have.
or-
Provenance that it can give to that
provenance.
digital art.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff in there.
Roadmap.
Oh, it's the direction a company is choosing that will a future plan of the direction they're going in.
Or a project.
Yeah, project.
Yeah, I think Craig got that because
What?
project.
I just said one word.
I'm joking.
Oh my
You
god.
got it, Laura.
Wow, I was gonna flip this table.
I know.
It's a big table.
It's I wouldn't have been able to do it. So thank God.
LFG.
Life is good. LFG. LFG. LFG.
Let's effing go.
Yep.
Let's.
that's it,
Damn! I
Craig.
should have known that. Let's say that later. LFG.
Few.
Fume.
Few.
View as in
Few.
Only a few of.
If
only a
W.
few of people
Oh, few.
can. Only a few of many. Only a few people can have them. Only a few people.
Almost.
Only a few. There's only a couple. It's limited.
You're one of a select number.
Few understand.
Right. That's
Yes,
understanding.
exactly. That's a good one for us right now.
Okay.
Gas wars.
Gas wars. Who can have the highest, the lowest? Whose gas is?
I'll let Maureen answer 2 times before I.
You know this one.
I don't know that I do.
Gas wars. Who's got the better gas price? Means send the gas. I don't
No,
know.
not quite.
Oh man. This-
It happened with the other
Ukraine and
other side
Russia.
deeds.
The one, sorry?
What?
The other side deeds from Bored Ape Yacht Club.
I don't remember. Is it where?
Next.
Okay.
Pass.
That's
Is it where they were minting so much stuff, or that they cranked the price and half of at times gas was costing more than things that were being minted at one point.
It's when there's a big mint on and
Yeah.
a bunch of people come in to mint
And it
straight on
just
the release.
spikes straight up.
And it spikes right up, and
Yeah.
people's transactions are failing, and they're losing
Oh.
their Ethereum.
Or it's costing
Yeah.
you more in gas than it is for the
Yeah,
actual thing that
yeah,
you're
yeah.
purchasing.
NFTs worth, I
Yeah.
believe.
Congestion.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's
A
exactly what it
big
is.
congestion in the network.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a very popular
It's like the
project.
So
Uber
did I not
business
get
model.
that?
Oh, I thought I got that.
Oh, sorry.
I guess one each.
Rug.
Rug pull. to pull the floor from under people. Rug, the bottom, pull.
Yep. I'll give you that.
Thanks.
It's like, what was it, Pixelmon? With Kevin.
What was it, Kevin?
There was, a
Kevin.
great big video of this awesome looking game, and then
It
people
was all
had to
Jurassic Parky type
Jurassic
music
Park,
for these things.
and then
it was a crappy version done on the
people would
recorder,
have to go
'cause-
look at Pixelmon collection themselves and look for the
Pixelmon
Kevin,
Kevin. Yeah,
or the sniper.
yeah, that would do it.
Good luck finding that.
That was my. Sorry, I couldn't notice that you didn't give me a point.
I think he did, but
No, he didn't. He didn't. I promise. You're just stirring me up. He didn't.
We'll check the video later.
Yeah, we will. I will be
We'll do the
checking it
rerun.
closely.
I was like patiently waiting.
Noob.
Nude.
Someone that
New.
knew
Oh,
it something.
when you knew
Like
it's something.
an
A
amateur,
newbie.
Someone just in.
A newbie.
Yeah, a newbie.
Yeah, thanks.
Craig got that
That
one.
was so mean.
Craig answered first. Meat space.
Meat. And spell the meat.
M-E-A-T.
It's M-E-A-T, is it?
It's meat, you
I
know.
don't know. Is that,
Space to
I
put
had
your
an
meat.
answer that I'm not going to give.
Space to put your meat.
Is this a new dating application?
Oh my
I
God.
don't know. What is it?
Another term for IRL.
What?
Really? So they're not
What?
even using M-E-E-T.
I
it's
haven't heard
meat
that.
as in, oh.
Wow.
That's-
This is why people
buying
don't-
on secondary.
This is why people don't want to get into this space. Like he's using the term. This does not
that-
represent
No.
the Web3 space. I just,
Buying
Well,
on
not me.
secondary.
when you buy it on a secondary transfer market.
Oh, she just.
So you're
Yeah.
not minting it? Yes. No, yeah.
I like snap straight back into competitive mode.
When moon.
When it goes straight up.
How long until this thing's going to be worth something?
Craig got that one.
That is actually correct. Once I said it, I regretted it.
Goblin Town.
Oh, I'm not going to say what came to my
Not
head.
another dating service. No.
That's exactly what I thought.
I have no idea on that one.
Everything's going to zero. Going to
Oh,
Goblin Town.
Oh, really?
Goblins.
That's the okay.
that's how did that goblin?
There's actually a funny NFT collection. Remember
Nathan,
I was
did you know
sharing
that
with you
I remember the
a
goblins.
few months
but
ago,
yeah.
and they were all on there making goblin noises for
Yeah.
5 months.
I was
Because
looking-
of
Did they make any money or did
Goblin
they
Town.
go down?
I'm not sure, but that's how they come up with it because
Okay.
everything was going down and Ethereum had a bit of a dip there. DYOR.
Do your own research.
Got you there.
Barely.
8.
Aped. So mad. He's aped. He's ape shit.
Did well, like the bored apes.
Oh, yeah.
No,
No.
he just aped into that.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
He
what,
aped
into
it.
it?
Yeah, he went
No.
all in.
He went all in.
Yeah,
He threw
that's
it.
me.
Yeah.
No risk management there, just all in.
Yeah,
Just scroll to the bottom and tick, I
Um,
accept. Yes?
that was me.
Yes,
That's
yes.
the-
Oh, that was me.
Yeah.
Was it?
That's
Yes.
where it's going.
Okay.
He's like, that's where it's going.
So
I'm watching
Maureen's
you.
won, but we've
It's like
got-
playing Monopoly with the banker.
Yeah, I know.
Gotta keep your eye on him. You're never gonna be the banker.
Yeah, hang on.
Monopoly on
Is,
the
is this
blockchain.
last question worth how many points?
Worth 5.
Worth 5 points.
This last question is worth 5 points.
Okay.
Oh, get real. All right, go. Get real.
NFA.
No F and idea. Oh, no, A.
No. Oh, no effing.
We say it all the time. We say the non-abbreviated version almost every day.
Oh. I apologise for the deathly silence. Well, actually, maybe you can hear the gears in my head grinding.
A. Answer?
Is the first word no?
The first word is not.
Oh, not financial advice.
Oh, is that
yeah. Yeah, we use it all the
Okay.
time in the
I'll
office.
take 1 point for that because I was really slow.
And because it's a fair thing to do. Like, hello.
Well,
And
that
that means Maureen wins.
That and I didn't want to be beaten up after this.
That's fine.
Yeah.
No, you please. No, I'm just kidding.
Good
Congratulations.
work, Maureen.
Craig was
Good
not
work.
hurt in the making of this.
I will be later though. Well done. Good game.
Thank you, good game, sir.
Good competition. Good.
Good game.
I said good day.
I said good day.
Yeah. Well, I think that wraps up our podcast for today, guys.
Yeah.
It was a good little fun one. We missed Cozzy being here. He'll be
Yeah,
back
we
in
miss
next
him. We
week
always
for-
miss him when he's away.
for
Our
Web3
COO.
Hopefully
Our
it wasn't
COO.
too bad with the inmates running the asylum in his absence.
Yeah. And we'll see you guys next week for Web3 Weekly. Thank you.
See you
Thanks,
later.
guys.
Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next week. Same time, same place.
Subscribe.